I don't know who needs to hear this, but past behavior predicts future behavior. So if you worked out yesterday, there's a higher chance that you will work out today than if you're somebody who did not work out yesterday. By the way, this is likely why we give our friends advice not to go back and date your ex, because past behavior predicts future behavior. It is also very helpful for designers to know. A lot of media platforms have internalized this. So I was watching rehearsal, I go to HBO, and they know that the most likely thing that I want to do is continue to watch the rehearsal, right? So they've chosen to focus on it. Now, Netflix also knows this and they are focusing on it, but in order to get there, I need to scroll Arrested Development past all these other recommendations they have. So they're treating it more like a grocery store where they're putting the milk and the eggs in the back and you got to walk around to get to the milk and eggs, but they still know that you want the milk and the eggs. Spotify also knows that. And they know that I am most likely to listen to Peppa Pig. So on the top of the screen is what I listened to yesterday. So they are making it easy for me to do the thing that I did before. And that is likely going to increase my engagement. Now, they have a problem, and we all have a problem in that if you are building a product, you will add features and you will want people to use these features because you're improving the product. By the way, Amazon is also in the game. They are basically, this is Amazon.com, and they're giving me pick up where I left off, food I've bought before, purses. This is for an experiment I did. They're basically, again, making it easy for me to do the thing that they already have signal that I want to do. So this past behavior predicts future behavior is insanely helpful if you can internalize it. It also can give us clues on how to get people to do something new. So I'll offer you basically what is good and then what is not good. So now imagine that you are launching new features. You have to figure out how you get somebody who is most likely to do the thing that I did yesterday to try something new. So Spotify has been vocal that they use the nearest neighbor algorithm, although I'm sure this has changed in the world of AI. But it used to be that they would basically try to understand what you were doing and very gradually recommend things that are like it, right? So if I'm listening to calming classical, they're going to recommend some other classical song. These are probably great recommendations that I should go for. The Wiggles, it's kind of like Coco Melon, which they know that I listen to. So they're basically trying to move me slowly on the path. Well, in software, that's a little bit harder because the features may be totally different or not clear that they're somewhat similar to the thing that you want the user to do. And in the world of AI, this will become even more of a conundrum for teams. You're building a product based on some credit model, and if people don't use the product, they're never going to get to from the free to the paid version. So you kind of have to encourage people to use the things you're building. This is actually a great shared incentive. But if past behavior predicts future behavior, then how the heck do you do that, right? That's incredibly difficult. So I'd like to propose basically a single way to think about this is that you have to make it as easy as the thing that they were previously doing if they're going to try something new with you. And this is because if I have to put in a little bit of effort, then the thing that I was doing yesterday is just easier than the thing that I could do with you today. So I'll give you an example of this from Riverside. I really like it. So meta, right? We're like looking at a podcast that I'm doing with the podcast software. But they introduced something called Made for You. They're putting it on the top where you're navigating all of your edits. So they're putting it in your way. I never told it to create magic clips. It just created magic clips for me. I never told it to create a post for me. I never told it to create a snapshot for me. So they're making it ridiculously easy for me to use and try their new features, right? It would be hard for me not to click on a magic clip and see, well, what do they create, right? And then I've actually started to engage in this new feature. Okay, on the flip, let's go to Airtable. So this is an Airtable built a long time ago, and you can imagine my natural inclination would be to share. But Airtable actually wants me to launch. Why do they want me to launch? Because it gets me into a totally new and very cool feature that they have called interfaces. However, at this moment, the moment that I want to share, I am not interested in learning interfaces, right? What I want to do is share, but if I click go to interfaces, which is an additional click, now I'm going to interfaces and I'm probably just going to dismiss this. Now I'm at this like weird thing that I have to navigate and figure out. By the way, this is like an old interface, and I would say new interface. And I have to cognitively understand what they're going to do and then the benefit of how this would help me. And so, what am I going to do? The same thing I did yesterday, which is just click the share button, right? So, Airtable, in theory, has to figure out how they make these interfaces just built into my workflow. So, I'll give you two ways. You can click the share button, and what if they just included it here? Where they said invite to collaborators and then they said edit an interface. And maybe they just dumbed down the interface feature so that you'd automatically get an interface once you wanted to share or invite collaborators. The other thing they could do is when you're clicking launch is just actually punt me into creating an interface versus asking me 2 or 3 times if I want to do it. So another idea, there's, a lot of times folks are creating something and then downloading it, right? Because that's kind of like our normal mental model of how you get it out of software and portable. And so I like this idea that you could, instead of downloading something, the alternative could be or create a live dashboard. That's cool, right? It's the same thing, serves the same purposes. I'm going to have it be portable, but now it's live. You could say live interactive. So you've just gotten me in the moment that I'm about to do the thing I was about to do yesterday to think a little bit differently and try to do something else that could be as easy as the thing I would normally do every day. Okay, so this is what we're fighting against. And it's kind of a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that we're a little bit consistent. But if you're building new products and features, you're trying to upsell, cross sell, like this is the thing that you have to fight against. There are lots of ways to do it, but making it as easy as the thing that they usually do is probably the top one.